Welcome back to another instalment of New Zealand's Bird of the Week, where in this video I will be talking about the red-billed gull, the most common gulls around New Zealand's coastlines that are familiar to many, but are now in decline. I hope you enjoy. Red-billed gulls are medium-sized gulls that are almost completely white in coloration, also having black-tipped wings, with their bills and legs being a bright red when fully mature. They are around 37 cm long, with females weighing around 260 grams and the males 300, with the latter also having stouter bills. They are often confused with the rarer but similar looking black-billed gulls, which they occasionally interbreed with, especially as juveniles and immature birds of both species have an overlapping range of bill and leg colours. Black-billed gulls when mature however are paler, and overall more gracile, having longer, more slender bills, as well as having less black on the outer wings. They are coastal birds and as such mainly feed on krill and small fish, the former of which is key for successful breeding as will be discussed soon. They are generalists however, and will feed on small invertebrates along the shore, as well as venturing into more urbanised areas to feed from handouts in towns or cities, even though said foods are often low in nutrients like bread or chips, with them much preferring their healthier seafood diet. Said practice of feeding them is therefore not all that helpful to them and can lead to some negative consequences. They breed in large and dense colonies on the mainland, but in scattered or solitary ones in the subantarctic islands, likely to avoid skewer predation. They nest from October to December, either on islands as mentioned, but also on rocky headlands, cliffs and beaches, with the egg-laying period also being noted to extend from mid-September to January. They are monogamous, with both birds sharing equal responsibility for nest building, incubation and looking after their chicks. Their nests are well formed, and can be constructed out of seaweed, grasses and leaves. Birds have been noted to pair for long periods of time, with the colony at Kaikoura being noted to have 83% of all pairs retaining their partners from one season to the next. The longest noted period that a pair has remained together was 17 years, with separation occurring highest in younger birds and in pairs breeding together for the first time. 2 eggs are usually laid, although 1 to 3 or even 5 egg clutches are also known to occur on occasion. The eggs are ovoid, being mainly brownish or greenish grey, with dark brown spots or blotches. Incubation lasts for about 21 to 25 days, with the chicks fledging at around 37 days, with them continuing to be fed for another 30. Male birds can live around 6 years and females about 9, although some have been noted to get up to 25. Red-billed gulls, while appearing very common in many areas of New Zealand, have declined tremendously, with them already having declined by a third in regards to breeding pairs. Only around 27,800 breeding pairs are left nationwide, with some breeding colonies suffering population declines of anywhere from 80 to even 100% since the mid-1960s, with them being classified as nationally vulnerable, the same conservation category as 3 species of kiwi, as while the numbers are lower, they are not declining nearly as quickly. The threats against them are threefold. Land development changes, including conversion to livestock and agriculture, has threatened their breeding grounds. Food stock changes due to marine conditions and intensive fishing has meant less food for chicks and adult birds, and introduced pests further hamper an already vulnerable population. Looking for food, birds can opportunistically take with people, although many young birds, especially who grow up being fed by people, often die as they never properly learn the skills to forage in the ocean, which is why such practices should be highly discouraged and stopped if birds are to do well. The Kaikoura breeding colony is the largest in the country, although this wasn't always the case. Over the last few decades, the Kaikoura population was once the 3rd largest, with the 2 largest, the 3 Kings Islands and Mokohina Islands, having noticeably more birds. Since then, however, these 2 localities have declined at a higher rate than the Kaikoura colonies, and as a result it is now the largest, even though it too has declined between 1993 and 2003 by 51%. Said decline has been explained by both predation, which has increased after 1989, when rabbit and hare control started to cease in many regions, and most critically, food availability. At Kaikoura, birds are dependent on a regular and abundant supply of krill for successful breeding, something noted by a long-term study of them which you can read down in the description of this video. When they are abundant, adults can complete a foraging trip in approximately 2 hours, but when scarce, trips have been noted to take as long as 5 to 6 hours, which can have a great effect on how often they feed and how much energy they expend. This decline of their food source is thought to be due to changes in the ocean's currents that has resulted in the reduction of cool nutrient-rich water welling up near the region. In contrast, despite the large declines in these key areas, birds have managed to increase around Dunedin. This is thought to be due to a combination of predator control around the nesting colonies, with there being numbers of up to 2,000 nesting pairs, with the cooler southern water off of the Otago coast allowing for more nutrients and foods to be present for them. And with that, I thank you for watching this instalment of New Zealand's Bird of the Week. For next time, you are now able to vote for the South Island robin, birds that are notable for being quite confiding, often approaching people without hesitation and hopping around the forest floor. With that, I'll see you next time, whenever that may be.